Hey guys, Paige here to do an album review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the brand new record from Within Temptation, Resist, out February 1st on Spinefarm Records. This album has 10 tracks and it's about 47 minutes in length. Now, I'm having a hard time categorizing this record. It definitely does not play like a metal record, but I'm not really sure what category this record really falls under. Perhaps the best category to put him under is a Within Temptation record. It really does not fit any of the preconceived ideas or preconceived molds where you can say that this is a symphonic metal record or is a hard rock album or is a pop rock album. This album is very eclectic in terms of the sound, and they really went away from their more traditional sound, if you will. So what this does for the album is it allows them to be expressive, to be creative, to have no boundaries, to have nothing limiting them, limiting their sound, limiting their creativity, and therefore what you have is an album that comes out and has no fixed address. It's a nomad almost, if you will, as far as genres are concerned. Now, the overall lyrical theme of the record is really one, and it's really simple, and that is Resist. That is the name of the record, and that is their lyrical theme throughout the record. Every single track, it talks about similar things, similar stories, if you will, similar topics. Better than stories, topics is perhaps the word that better describes the similarities of the lyrics throughout the record. It really talks about oppression through social media, coming from different angles, and how it's cleansing your mind of your own autonomy, and how perhaps we need to take that back. We need to resist the urge to be a sheep and follow all the others around us and be subservient to the thoughts of the mass media, and rather make up our own minds, resist that temptation, and have our own minds made up of our own thoughts, of our own perspectives, of things that we see, not take things for granted, but really look for our own answers and not take somebody else's answers as being the correct ones. So that's pretty much the lyrical theme throughout the record. Sound-wise, I touched on it already. This album really is a step, perhaps, in the evolution of the band. The band obviously feels the need to experiment with different sounds, with different, almost different genres, if you will, because this record really has a huge, vast array of genres incorporated into the songs and then into the overall structure of the record. You have anything from pop, rock, dance, house, trance, even hip-hop in terms of the drum style. In a couple of songs there's a little bit of a hip-hop vibe to how the drums were recorded on the tracks. So there is a little bit of everything. It really has a wide array of sounds, of structures, like I said, of how the songs are put together, how they come across to the audience. And I mean, and that to me was also reflective on the cameos, on the features that they had on this record. They had a few guest vocalists on the record. They had Jacoby Chaddix from Papa Roach, they had Jasper Steverlink, and they had Anders Frieden from In Flames. So they had a few different guest vocalists on the album. That obviously also, if you look at those guest vocalists and their background, that gives you a glimpse into how eclectic this album is and how widespread as far as sound, as far as structure, this record really is. So I think all of these things kind of play together. All of these things were like a perfect storm coming together to create an album that's very different. And I think that's what they were going for. They were going for an album that really did not put boundaries or structures, or at least tied them down to their more core genre of symphonic metal. I really feel like this was an album where the band really wanted to spread their wings. They wanted to create songs that meant something to them, songs that were that had something new, and they didn't want a genre, a history of the band perhaps to determine how those songs were going to be created, how those songs were going to be played, and how the structure of the record was going to be. They really wanted full freedom, they wanted full reign, and this is what you get from this record. You really get a Within Temptation record. Very widespread sound-wise. Lyrically, like I said, it's very concise to the theme of resisting oppression. Every song speaks about it in different ways. So from a lyric perspective, the album is very concise. From a musical perspective, the album is very diverse. This is the best way to describe this record from Within Temptation. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I didn't really want to touch on songs that have been released as singles. I wanted to give you guys something fresh, something new, so I picked 3 songs that haven't been released yet. I started with Mad World. This is a song that has some simplicity to it, and the beauty, at least apparent simplicity to it, and the simplicity that it has, it's where the beauty lies. So this is a song that the verses, it really feels like it's a verses versus chorus. And during the verses, you have a more melodic approach, musically, lyrically, and vocally, and then it really builds up towards the chorus. The chorus feels a lot more bombastic, and that is a theme that you're going to see throughout the record. You're going to see this in a lot of different songs, but specifically in Mad World, you really see that crescendo, that build up towards the chorus. And then when you have a chorus that's very hooky, very catchy, with a very pop vibe to it, it really lends itself to a song that just captivates the listener, that just really gets you hooked into it. At first it hooks you with the beautiful melodies and the vocal performance, and then with that hooky chorus, you're completely engulfed by this song. I really like it. To me, this song has a lot of cool components. The vocal component of this song is perhaps its best. There's a stripped down bridge towards the middle end of the song that is just the vocals. You just get the vocals, and it's really stripped down, almost unplugged, if you will. And it gives the song such a dark vibe. It gives the song such an ominous vibe, and I really enjoyed that because it was such a different feel from the rest of the song, and that created an even cooler dynamic, added a cool dynamic to the song itself. Another song I wanted to mention to you guys is Supernova. This one really starts with a synthesizer. It starts with a really cool synthesizer melody, and it stays on with that melody throughout the track. It kind of fades into the background for the rest of the track. It's not as predominant in the forefront of the track. It's there throughout. This is almost a song that you would expect out of Justin Timberlake or Calvin Harris. That is how eclectic in sound and how widespread in sound this record really is. It really, some songs really give you that dance, house, trance vibe to it. It really comes across almost a mixture of that with a pop song. So it really has that world. This song, Supernova, has that, and although has a sense as well, there's an atmosphere to this song that almost feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The whole album really has a little bit of a sci-fi vibe to it. It really has that in the music, and how the music is placed and how it interacts with the lyrics. But this song perhaps is the one that encapsulates it the best. Supernova is really a song that has a sci-fi vibe atmosphere to it, and in that synth melody and that synth sound really adds to it. And then when you mix that with incredible vocals, once again, I mean, that is one standard throughout the record. Vocally, this record is impressive, and this song is no different. I really like that. I really like what they did with this. By not putting that synthesizer in the forefront too much throughout the track, it's a little bit more in the background, giving it that underlaid melody to the song. And then it's another song that has a very pop undertone to it, mostly because of how hooky the chorus is and how catchy it is. They created songs that are extremely catchy, extremely hooky, and the choruses are really simple, really easy to remember, and really cool to sing along. You really find yourself singing along really easy because they're not super intricate. They're very straightforward, almost in a pop structure. Another song I have to mention to you guys is Holy Ground. I really like this. The vocals on this track, to me, are the highlight of the track. Not necessarily just from the vocals itself, but how they were used and how layers of vocals were used in order to give the song a little extra thickness. Specifically in the chorus, I really like the humming that they introduced in this track. In the chorus, it really gives an atmosphere to the song. It gives the song a really cool embrace. And most important, it makes the vocals sound a lot larger than life. It makes them sound bigger, thicker. It adds volume to the vocal delivery on the track. I really like what they did that. They used it throughout the song, not the humming on the chorus, but throughout the song. They use these vocal tracks in the background to add a sense of an echo at some points, and in some others to add a sense of a choir. So I really like what they did with the vocal tracks on this song, because it just made a song that perhaps would be very linear and straightforward, sound very bombastic, sound very big, very grandiose, sound very cinematic. I like that. I like what they did with that. I like how they incorporated those different layers of tracks in the song, and that was one of those things that really spoke to me listening to this track on the album. Now, this is it for me. I want to hear from you guys, but before I go, I just want to say one more thing. I mentioned this before, but I really want to emphasize this. This to me is an album that really has a wide genre of styles incorporated in it. Metal perhaps being the least of all of those genres, but it's an album that has a lot of great things to it, has a lot of twists and turns, and overall it has a real sci-fi vibe to it. At the end of it, the more I listened to it, the more I felt that this record could be easily a soundtrack to a sci-fi movie. It has a lot of those musical components that make a great soundtrack, but that give it a little bit of a sci-fi vibe to it. Really cool record, really different record, a record that took me a little bit by surprise at the beginning because it didn't make me feel, I wasn't sure what I was listening to, I wasn't sure where they were going with it, and more important, I was having a hard time categorizing it. The moment I forgot about categories, that I forgot about genres, that I forgot about where to place it, and I was able to just listen to the music and enjoy it, then I opened up my mind, I opened up my ears, I opened up my heart to the record, and I was fully engulfed by it. Alright guys, this is it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about this record? I'm really dying to see what you guys have to say about this record. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.